hello, you know, I mean, I'm like, what man doesn't understand what I'm saying? And that's where we get into a bigger, broader subject about what pissed me off about how pathetic this industry can be at times. Don't act like you don't agree with me. Don't act like you don't see, meaning you don't see what I'm saying. Don't act like I'm out of left field as a man.
So I assumed that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say he can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it.
Stephen A. Smith criticizes Floyd Mayweather for reckless spending as he reacted to the Business Insider article that exposed Floyd's money problems. Smith is saying that Floyd should have saved wisely and made strong investments instead of wasting his massive earnings.
And make sure you develop your own lobbyist, right? And it's an abundance of y'all. And y'all have the capital to influence government. But you're not thinking like that because it involves real work and it involves a real conscientious thought. RC might have that.
Stephen A. Smith also shared an old video where we can see him visiting Floyd Mayweather in his prime. Floyd proudly showcased millions in luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish possessions inside his extravagant home.
This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this?
A little bit over 20,000 square feet, 3 or 4 levels.
Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas.
My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
I see that picture. Who is that?
And that's where it all started from.
That's you?
That's me. This picture is old school. I got the old school gloves on. And this is made of carpet, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in a boxing ring in Grand Rapids, Michigan at Tawasi Boxing Club. That's where it all started from.
But you knew instantly you wanted to be a fighter.
That's all I knew. My whole life, that's all I knew.
What's your definition of toy?
Well, private jet, Enzo.
Ari Spears criticized reckless spending habits, referencing Mike Tyson, highlighting how poor financial decisions can affect even the most successful athletes.
House I was hanging out at was one of like the OG jewelers. Like these are the one of the jewelers that supplies like all the other jewelers, right? And he told me that Mayweather is broke.
I keep hearing this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true.
I don't think so.
But he said that based on his spending and so forth, this is why these fights are happening now. That he needs to make some money back. That the spending has outpaced the money that
he's been retired.
Right.
And he's still, flying to Monaco with a bad bitch, buying up half the store.
Right. Always flying private.
Yeah.
Does he have his own plane?
Yeah, he does.
He does, right. So that's massively expensive. Even if you own it, the upkeep is huge. Right. Plus all the properties, all the property tax. Yeah, I mean, if you're not properly invested, because there was he was saying that he bought this building in the Diamond District, but people are saying that's, the same jeweler said that's actually not true.
Right.
So there's been a lot of stuff like that. Listen, I hope not, man, but I remember I interviewed Tyson. He lost like $300 million.
Grant Cardone, a business expert, criticized Floyd Mayweather, saying poor investments and careless spending choices prevented long-term financial stability and growth.
Floyd Mayweather's got 22 million people following him, but is it any good? Like I don't know what it does with him. Like, does it do business with him? Does it transact with him? I know guys with big followings. But there's nothing happens as a result of the following.
So you're on the is Floyd rich or is Floyd broke? Which side?
I don't know. I think Floyd ends up broke.
Ends up broke.
If he doesn't, it's not a Floyd thing. It's not a Floyd thing. It's an asset thing. If you don't end up in assets, you end up broke.
Yeah.
So because you can't keep fighting forever.
So if Floyd was watching right now, what would you say to him?
Floyd, you need to spend as much time working on your investments as you do in Neiman Marcus or the Gucci store, the Fendi store.
He could just invest with you, though, right?
He could invest to Cardone Capital. I would ensure that he's a billionaire.
Wow.
You cannot.
DJ Academics reacts to Business Insider's report exposing Floyd Mayweather, alleging unpaid Mercedes debts and multiple outstanding financial obligations he reportedly failed to settle.
I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars are paid for. I own $1 billion buildings. Everything is no longer paid for. They're exposing him if you don't know. Mayweather took out millions of dollars in mortgages on his homes last year. A Business Insider review shows he also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion. So it looks like they've pulled all his debt. At the same time, he's trumpeted a major entry into the big league. Commercial real estate. Starting in the fall of 2024, Mayweather talked about spending blitz on commercial property in New York through his newly formed real estate.
Wade Plemons says Floyd Mayweather earned massive money during his career, but better utilization and smarter financial decisions could have secured his long-term stability.
Because he owed so much money to them and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representatives said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, it's a true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight, and then he'll pay you after the fight.
Floyd Mayweather consistently presents himself as the pinnacle of boxing greatness, asserting that no other fighter measures up to his skill or accomplishments. While confidence is essential in competitive sports, his relentless self-promotion frequently irritates peers, fans, and analysts alike. This behavior, though common among elite athletes seeking to maintain dominance and influence, often crosses into perceived arrogance. Critics argue that such constant boasting overshadows his legitimate achievements, painting him as more focused on image than legacy. Despite these perceptions, Mayweather's success inside the ring is undeniable, with numerous victories and titles. Still, his public persona, characterized by flaunting wealth and superiority, ensures that admiration is often mixed with skepticism and criticism from the boxing community and broader audiences.
I did now. I don't think there's no boxer in history that has accomplished what I've accomplished. Not bragging or boasting, just speaking the truth. I take my hat off to a lot of legendary champions, that paved the way for me to be where I'm at in the sport of boxing. But that was their era, and this is my era. I had a tremendous career. And we got young fighters that's on the rise, that's under our banner. The ultimate goal is to find the next Floyd Mayweather that can break my records.
So is Gervonta?
Chael Sonnen explains that Floyd Mayweather, like many elite fighters, faces the challenge of maintaining wealth after retirement. While his career brought immense fame and fortune, Sonnen notes that the public spotlight gradually fades and prime athletic years are limited. Many fighters who dedicate their entire lives to the sport find themselves unprepared for life outside the ring. Without careful planning, investments, or alternative career paths, even the most successful athletes risk financial instability once their competitive relevance declines. Sonnen highlights that boxing, while highly lucrative at its peak, offers little long-term financial security if money is not managed wisely. Mayweather's situation reflects this broader pattern, showing that fame and skill alone cannot guarantee lifelong wealth without prudent planning, discipline, and strategic foresight.
Sir, do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face, the numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time, is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal for them to lie. You have never heard Time Warner, you have never heard Cox, you never heard DirecTV, you have never heard...
Dan Le Batard discusses the ongoing financial challenges faced by Floyd Mayweather. As of February 2026, Mayweather has filed a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza, aiming to recover funds and stabilize his finances. Over his career, it's estimated that Mayweather earned more than $1.2 billion purely from fight earnings, a staggering sum by any standard. Le Batard raises a crucial point. While earnings were astronomical, so was Mayweather's spending.
Initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask outside of like how much has he made is how much has he spent, you know? Because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he's presently.
He is believed to have spent close to $1 billion over the last 25 years maintaining an extravagant lifestyle filled with luxury cars, jewelry, designer clothing, and high-end experiences. Such spending habits make it challenging for even someone of his earning capacity to sustain long-term wealth. Le Batard compares this situation to the movie Brewster's Millions, highlighting how even with massive income, overspending can force unexpected actions like returning to the ring at age 49 simply to generate income. He emphasizes that much of Mayweather's wealth was made by public fascination, fans watching to see if he could lose, demonstrating the power of celebrity culture and spectacle in boxing.
Is something that somehow will make money because people will still want to watch if Floyd Mayweather can lose, because that's where he made his $1.2 billion. He made it in us watching to see if he'd lose.
I don't even think, like, it's just celebrity boxing is so popular because we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and this is the rare reality show in which we can see people fight, you know? Like, oh, wouldn't it be...
DJ Academics reports that Floyd Mayweather claimed to own a $42 million portfolio of rent-regulated Manhattan buildings outright, though property records show no clear ownership. Over the past 18 months, 2 of his commercial properties were foreclosed, and he risked losing his Las Vegas business, the Girl Collection, due to over $52,000 in back taxes. Mayweather has also faced lawsuits over unpaid luxury items, including watches and high-end jewelry. Creditors pursued him for his Gulfstream jet, Air Mayweather, which he sold in December along with Beverly Hills mansions. Experts warned that without strong professional guidance, even Mayweather's wealth faces significant risks.
Session titled Real Estate Knockout, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. So yeah, the Floyd Mayweather Strategy. The big talk doesn't always end in big deals though. Business Insider found. Chat, they're exposing him. Mayweather's social media last year promoted an article that he reported that he made $100 million in his portfolio of a Manhattan luxury high-rise apartment towers owned by the Go Partners. People with knowledge of this investment said Mayweather put a nominal sum late last year and did not invest further, and his initial equity in the deal was later absorbed by the Go Partners, leaving him with no stake. The portfolio of the buildings was eventually spun off into a publicly traded entity. In February, Mayweather also said he bought a portfolio in a rent-regulated apartment buildings in the Upper Manhattan for $402 million, declaring that all the buildings belong to me. I don't got no partners. Business Insider previously reported that there were no property records showing an outright or majority.
DJ Vlad shares an eye-opening perspective on Floyd Mayweather's financial habits, revealing that a prominent jeweler suggested Mayweather could be struggling due to years of extravagant spending. During his prime, Mayweather famously flaunted his wealth, showcasing luxury cars, high-end watches, and other lavish possessions, projecting an image of unparalleled riches. Yet beneath the surface, DJ Vlad highlights reports of unpaid debts to jewelers and other vendors, suggesting that not all of Mayweather's ostentatious displays were fully backed by liquid assets.
You would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
This contrast between perception and reality underscores a critical lesson in financial management. Appearances can be deceiving, even for someone widely regarded as the richest figure in boxing. Vlad emphasizes that Mayweather's situation is a cautionary tale for athletes and celebrities who prioritize luxury and status over careful financial planning. Even extraordinary earnings can be undermined by poor money management. By examining Mayweather's lavish lifestyle alongside alleged debts, the discussion paints a fuller picture of the challenges elite athletes face in maintaining long-term wealth and the consequences of prioritizing flashy displays over sustainable financial strategies.
That Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing, showing up. Nobody gives a shit. Like there are people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are gonna say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give him some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the
an
thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cards. And so that's a
yeah, but look what happened to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested.
So if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to peep any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond chains.
Among the numerous legal battles Floyd Mayweather has faced, one of the more unexpected cases involved unpaid bills for luxury jewelry. A Miami-based jeweler publicly claimed that Mayweather had accepted delivery of high-value pieces without completing the agreed-upon payments. This lawsuit highlighted a side of Mayweather that contrasts sharply with his public image of immense wealth and extravagant living. While fans and media often focus on his flashy cars, designer watches, and lavish lifestyle, incidents like this reveal potential issues with financial management and accountability. Legal disputes over unpaid luxury items also serve as a reminder that even individuals with massive earnings can encounter challenges in maintaining financial discipline. The case attracted attention because it involved high-end jewelry, an area where Mayweather's persona of opulence is already well known. Beyond the courtroom, it raised questions about long-term planning and responsible spending habits, emphasizing the risks of prioritizing image over careful financial decisions.
Miami jeweler that goes by the name of Leonard Suleymanov is like, give me my money, give me my money. So he is hitting Floyd Mayweather with a huge lawsuit. Y'all, we're talking about a cool $4 million for some luxurious watches and diamonds that Floyd supposedly forgot to pay for. Y'all know he forget to cash checks. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He might have forgot to pay for it for real. So even, y'all tell me if
Floyd Mayweather famously transformed his persona early in his career, changing his nickname from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money Mayweather. This rebranding reflected not only his confidence in his abilities but also his unshakable belief that he was destined to become a billionaire. The new moniker symbolized a lifestyle of luxury, success, and financial dominance, and he embraced it fully, showcasing wealth through expensive cars, designer clothing, and lavish possessions. Fans and critics alike often viewed him as the epitome of opulence in sports, a figure who flaunted his achievements and made others envious. Over time, his extravagance became a defining aspect of his public image, amplifying admiration, jealousy, and criticism simultaneously.
Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Boy Floyd. You see, in boxing, usually people have like an alter ego, the character they play. He had to change his character from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money because Pretty Boy Floyd had a problem. You need to listen. Now, the problem was he was tiny. But more than that, his hands were tiny. Now, I don't know much about JB, but I know he ain't big. And them boy got the same frame. That's twinning him. Now, let me be more specific. It wasn't his hands so much that were tiny. It's that they were brittle. It's believed to be genetic because his dad broke his hand and his uncle broke his hand. Yeah, they were all boxers and them boys could throw hands. That does not mean he had it easy. You see, his dad sold a bunch of stuff and his mom did a bunch of stuff. So to escape his traumatic childhood, all he would do is train day in and day out. He said, I had to take care of my mom. But he trained so much because it's all he knew. That his hands.
However, recent revelations about his financial struggles have shifted public perception. Seeing a figure who once seemed untouchable now facing challenges brings a sense of satisfaction to some, as Mayweather's earlier displays of wealth had provoked strong feelings of envy and resentment. This contrast between his past and present circumstances highlights the complexities of fame, fortune, and public perception, showing how even the richest athletes can experience vulnerability.
He breaks his hand. It turns out that both of his hands were severely injured. They told him, Floyd, you're not boxing anymore. He said, nah, I'm finna box. He said, no, you're not hearing me. The problem is you already beat everybody your size. Listen, Floyd had a bigger issue. He needed to start boxing people that were way bigger than him because everybody his size couldn't hang with him. So if his hands were breaking against smaller guys, against bigger guys, he better have no arms. So Mayweather's team said we need to switch things up. This dude, Mayweather's promoter, said switch things. What now? Everything's saying the same, stupid. He said, unless y'all got $750K, the AVO contract is done. Mayweather said, here. He said, what? I don't pay you that much. I've been saving up for this day. He said, oh, okay, big dog, you got it. So they devised a plan. Go from Pretty Boy to Money. See, Pretty Boy loved to throw hands, but Money was a defensive specialist. In fact, he's easily considered as the greatest defensive boxer of all time. But that wasn't the only...
That's it for today's video. So stay tuned. Until next time.